Yeah, man.
Why are you so far away?
I was thinking it's probably about time we tell our viewers that we're changing our channel from a pop culture channel to a church channel.
Is that why you brought your Bible?
Well, sorta, because we're gonna become a church of whiskey.
Aha!
So today I thought we would invite somebody in who we're gonna interview who could potentially be the pastor of the Church of Whiskey.
So, introducing a pastor to whiskey?
Oh yeah, something like that.
Right after this. Welcome to Whiskey Pop. I'm Zane.
And I'm Jeff.
And
today we are going to be the Church of Whiskey.
That's right.
We've given up pop culture for the day, and we've gone to our religious whiskey roots, I guess you might say.
That's religious whiskey roots.
So I think we need to bring our guest in today.
Let's invite our guest in.
Because we're going to introduce what?
A pastor to whiskey. So
let's do that. Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug, welcome to Whiskey Pop.
Thanks, man.
So Doug is actually a legitimate pastor, right?
I don't know how legitimate.
We'll talk about that here in a minute, but first we probably should pour a drink.
That sounds good because I don't have one.
And today we're going to start off with George Dickel Tennessee Bottled in Bond Whiskey. This is the fall 2007 13-year edition.
So are we going to hold our pinkies up?
We should hold them up just like this.
I say we do it. Let's do it.
Pop this open.
Hey, when you do it, can you go Dickel?
Dickel? So, before we dive into this, right? Have you had whiskey before?
Oh, yeah.
What usually is your go-to whiskey?
40 Creek's what I drink with my father. Woodford's my go-to.
Oh, Woodford Reserve. Okay.
All right.
Well, now this today, we felt like, would be a good idea to introduce you to high-proof whiskeys. So we're going to start off with 100 proof Dickel and work our way up.
Start
Of course.
with the little Jorge Miguel.
So, hey, let's try this. What do you say? Let's smell it.
Yeah, all right.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't smell bad.
No.
Sure.
Well, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, Feather.
So now this whiskey has gained a lot of attention. In 2019, it won a ton of awards. This year, especially, most people who have had it really do love this whiskey. I say we try this. What do you think?
I say we try this.
All right, let's do it. Oh, that's nice and smooth. For a 13-year, that's an age statement whiskey that, oh, wow. Cinnamon.
Oh, yeah, and clove.
Yeah, and clove. So now, if you want to know more about George Dickel this week, catch us on.
Second pour.
That's right, where we will review
Suddenly
George.
I turned Irish. I don't
Second
know
pour.
I don't know.
Because you put a pastor in the room and you suddenly become a little more Irish.
I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, there we go. Okay.
So check us later this week when we do George Dickel
on Second Pour, which is on Fridays.
on Fridays.
Is it? Really on Friday?
It really is on Friday, really.
Okay.
Yeah, we've said this before, it's always on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we need to start introducing a pastor of whiskey. Before we do, kind of give us a little bit of, you've been a pastor in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you're a pastor, always a pastor kind of deal.
Sure.
So you went to seminary school, the whole shebang, helped start multiple churches, been part of big churches. What are you doing today?
Now I'm in healthcare.
Healthcare!
What a cruddy time to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. I mean, that's a journey, I'm assuming.
It's a journey. Yeah. It's something.
Now, we have to be completely honest with you. All three of us have known each other for
a while.
A long time.
A few days
at least. So, but we wanted to bring Doug in because we thought it would be interesting to have fun with the cloth a little bit and I don't know.
Can't even say the cloth.
The cloth. So
in this day and age, that's kind of scary. You're gonna have fun with the cloth.
well, you know what? They're used to it.
That's true. That's true.
This isn't new.
I beg your pardon.
Well, let's start them off with another 100 proof whiskey.
Okay, 100
So
proof whiskey.
another 100 proof whiskey. I was thinking Cooper's Craft.
Yeah.
Now this is a newer whiskey in our area, and it is a new craft whiskey by Brown-Forman. If you want to call Brown-Forman a craft whiskey maker.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I know. So I say we pour him up some of this. What do you
I
think?
say we do it.
All right. Now this is a non-age statement whiskey, so it's a minimum 2 years to be a bourbon. Not gonna give you a ton, because we want to make sure you make it through all 10 that you're gonna have.
Really? Oh my God. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, so Cooper's Craft is a non-age statement whiskey. It's another 100 proof, just like George Dickel. So see if you pick up some new nuances out of that you didn't get out of.
Ooh, that's very different. Guys, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Not bad.
That's good.
Now I don't remember what we rated Cooper's Craft, but it was a pretty decent.
Yeah, it was
And now
decent.
this is they do have a standard. This is the 100 proof. They also have one that's kind of their lower proof, 80. It's kind of their entry level. This one is the one that people tend to jump on the most. If I'm right, this is that chiseled and charred, like alligator char.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and show you here because I don't have to worry about the post-edit part.
Guy's so mean, I swear.
I'm gonna keep pointing too. You're gonna have to put links and
That was
everything.
really good.
Now this is named after the cooperage that makes the barrels for Brown-Forman. That's why it's got the name Cooper's Craft. But it's not a bad whiskey. It's new in our area. We reviewed it not too far back.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
That's good.
He's like, yeah, no, I want to finish that one
That
first.
is really good. I honestly really don't know what good whiskey is.
Well, you're getting ready to have some.
Well, at the Church of Whiskey, that's the whole point of this is to help you find those whiskeys that you might like that you haven't ever thought about. So in a case like this, I mean, where you said you've had Wild Turkey and some Canadian whiskey stuff that we've got to stop you from drinking immediately. Actually, 40 Creek makes an age statement whiskey. It's supposed to be pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah.
But we ain't tried it because it's what?
Canadian, yeah.
So now you said you've had Wild Turkey at college, right?
Yeah, from what I
You're
can
like,
remember,
I wouldn't
in
drink that
college.
stuff back. So was this in seminary school?
Probably a couple of times.
I think people would be shocked to think a couple of times. I think people would be shocked to realize that people at seminary school actually drink
When I was in seminary, I was into beer.
beer. Huh?
Beer, yeah, I was a beer connoisseur.
What, Budweiser?
And Bud Light,
That-
and Coors Light.
So
Come on.
So he's not had good bourbon or good beer. I mean, we could do the Church of Whiskey, the Church of Beer.
Craft beer hadn't hit the scene yet, and I could barely afford Keystone Light. So
Keystone Light.
Is that even made anymore?
Who drinks that?
by Canadians.
We gotta save this man, Zane. He needs to be saved. Okay, so you said you had Wild Turkey in college. Believe it or not, we're gonna introduce you to Russell's Reserve. That's a single barrel. You want to guess who makes it?
No.
Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey.
So this is made actually by the master distiller for Wild Turkey and his son, who's a master distiller, and this is their idea.
Can you imagine growing up in that family?
I know. I mean, nobody can spell their name. Now, I will be honest. This is probably one of the top 10 daily drinkers for Whiskey Pop.
Yeah, it's for sure. This was a gem of a whiskey.
It's a pretty tasty whiskey. So jump on in. Smell it. See what you get out of it. You notice
My
anything?
mother's hairspray.
Mother's hairspray.
No more hanger.
All right, here we go. Let me try this. Wow, I didn't think it could get better than Cooper's.
So now Russell's Reserve, it's a really good bourbon. They do produce a 10-year, a 6-year, as well as recently they just released a 13-year, which has kind of become a unicorn. We haven't even gotten our hands on that.
What's this?
This is the single barrel.
Single barrel.
Now, sometimes in our area, there are stores that will do a private barrel select, which is basically they've selected their own barrel and bottled it. Those are pretty good too, but if you can at least get your hands on the single barrel, which usually is available, it's not hard to find.
It's a little harder for me to find. I don't know.
Now, some of the flavor you might be getting out of that, what do you think you're getting out of that?
All right, so I always want to say caramel.
Okay, well, so now here's the deal with whiskey. caramel, brown sugar, oat. Those are part of those things. What you're going to be looking for is the underlying things that are a little more hidden underneath that. So when you drink your next one, try looking for toffee, licorice, or vanilla.
It's really good. That is really good, guys. I mean, I didn't think we could progress and get better.
That's what we're hoping to do today, is to progress along and let you try something a little better, a little higher proof, a little better, higher proof. Now, what we talked about, we're going to talk about this here soon, but as you drink whiskey and your palate develops, have you noticed that whiskey drinkers kind of start moving toward the higher proof whiskeys?
Yeah, we were actually having that discussion just before we started filming tonight. Yeah, it's just I have naturally progressed more towards the high proof.
And it seems to happen that way the more you, and it's not like you're trying to get drunk.
No, it's just...
You're searching for something, right? If you want to get drunk, you can just drink Mellicorn.
Or not.
I hear that's good.
It's great.
It's fantastic.
It's Zane's favorite scotch.
I will say this though, guys. I'm a kind of a scotch drinker. I like scotch.
Oh, okay.
And Oban is kind of my favorite.
Okay, yeah.
That's something I can find locally that's a little bit higher shelf, tastes a little bit better. When we're getting to this higher alcohol content, I really am enjoying how it mirrors that and not sweet and syrupy. And
I think that's what I think. A lot of people who drink scotches will think that they think, okay, I'm getting a much wider range of flavor out of a scotch, and don't realize that bourbon has that same range.
I had no idea.
You just have to kind of get away from those really basic bottom shelf whiskeys.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah, exactly, and grab something that's a little more upscale. You don't have to spend a ton. So like, this is $45. This is $60. No, this is $40. This is about $50. Your Oban can go as far as $100. You know, very easily. Yeah. So you can get a really good whiskey.
You may have converted me, brother.
Hey, man, that's what we do here at the Church of Whiskey.
That's what we're talking about.
You're not gonna hate me.
This next one is something you've had before. We're gonna ratchet back down for a second. Go back to 100.
Well, then I'm just not interested at all.
But this is Knob Creek Small Batch.
Now this is interesting.
Yeah. Now Zane, you like Knob Creek.
I actually do like.
You like the knob.
Hey, you know, yeah.
I can tell you this, I'm starting to sweat bullets, fellas. That high alcohol content.
That's just the holy whiskey ghost coming out of you right now. So Knob Creek, it's 100 proof, small batch. This is a little bit above the standard Knob Creek. You said you've had some Knob Creek, right? Do you know what you've had along this Knob Creek?
I gotta be honest with you. I walked into the liquor store and it was sitting there and it would just kind of call to me. I mean, literally, there was no method. I just went in and grabbed it.
John! You know, it's like this.
Drink me, please.
Zane, pour a little bit in my glass.
Okay.
Just a little.
Just a tiny smidge. Let's smell this.
Yeah, I still got the taint of the George Dickel.
I do too, so. Did you just mix the knob with the taint?
There was knob. I mixed the knob with the Dickel.
All it takes is getting a pass in a room. Next thing you know, you're talking about
everything's
taints,
a knob, a
knobs,
tickle, a
and
Dickel, a taint.
It is definitely tainted.
I'm just drinking this whiskey. Now, I'll be honest. I'm not a big Knob Creek fan.
I think I like it less than, I mean, this is so far. It's
so right now you're saying this Russell's is like...
Look, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. I'm a novice, but I would be reaching for that so far. No offense against your knob.
It's quite okay. Because actually, that's not the knob I go for.
I'll rinse your glass out real quick.
You like dusty knobs.
What knob do you go for?
120 proof knob. Bringing it back.
What's that got to do with my knob?
So, the whole room's gonna change here in a second because we're gonna introduce you to an American whiskey. Now, honestly, all bourbon is an American whiskey.
I was a little confused by that statement.
But this is a true
this
American whiskey. All right, so this is Stranahan's single malt whiskey cask strength. This is 112.9, so it's 113 proof.
Nice.
So this is closest to American Scotch, right?
Right.
All right, so let's go in on this. What do you say?
Been waiting for a while now.
Been a while.
Been a while.
Whoa.
Now, this is not bourbon. So I have to preface, this is not bourbon. It's whiskey, but it's not bourbon. This is single malt.
Is there vanilla in there?
Oh,
There is a little bit of vanilla in there. There's a couple of notes that are really strong in this.
yeah.
I can't tell if it's cherry or I don't know what that is.
This is pecan praline,
Okay.
vanilla,
Okay. Yeah.
chocolate, maple, toasted marshmallow, and cinnamon. This is like breakfast. This is breakfast cereal.
Definitely the
it's
chocolate and the maple and the pecan.
It's very chewy. I mean, it's like
Okay, that's my new favorite.
That's your new favorite. Okay.
Yeah, that's really good.
So you would say this single malt is probably your favorite, and then
Absolutely.
probably followed by Russell's.
Yeah. Then followed by
Cooper's.
probably Knob.
Oh,
then
Knob.
Cooper's.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Ah. So the Dickel gets last place. then.
Tricky Dickel gets
Tricky
last
Dickel
place.
gets last place.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Now that we've had 5 whiskeys in us, right? We're a little more softened up.
Yeah.
Why do you think whiskey has such a negative connotation, maybe in the religious aspect?
Well, and it depends on what continent you're on. If you're in
Oh,
America.
yeah, American.
Yeah, okay.
American.
So, America was pretty much colonized and settled by Puritans. Puritans did not partake in this. So sad that they didn't, because it's pretty damn good.
They'd have been a little more loosey-goosey.
Yeah. But that's the primary reason, is that it just comes from a Puritan vein of the church. And I'm not a Puritan, and I love that right there.
I almost think that even communion itself would be way more interesting.
I've actually taken communion at a church that used. What was that?
Oh,
He's like, he doesn't believe it. It's a monster. That son of a bitch ain't never take communion.
Sorry about that. Just a little bit went down the wrong path.
He's like, is it that hard to believe I've taken communion?
And your experience with God.
Whoa, is that really the blood of Christ? Yes. Man, that guy must have been wasted 24 hours a day, huh?
The power of Christ compels you. He's picking up the holy water and throwing it at us.
No, I actually took communion at a church that was a little bit higher church.
Yeah.
And it was like a bourbon whiskey type thing. It wasn't wine. I can tell you that it was not wine. It was a really cool experience because they wipe the cup and you take it and you feel the burn and you're like, wait a minute, that's not wine. I like this church.
Was it Presbyterian? Because they can come from Scotland.
Sound like a church of whiskey to me.
Amen.
I was
Hey,
like,
man.
I need to be at this church until they started preaching and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Anytime they want to do communion, I'm in though, bro.
Anytime alcohol's involved. I mean,
A little hot.
12 apostles can't be wrong.
All right.
I don't think it can get any better than that, guys.
So you don't want to go to the next one?
Oh no, we're going to the
All
next
right,
one.
here we go.
We're going to the next one. Yeah, it's happening.
This is Old Ezra 7 year, so it's an age statement whiskey. It's barrel strength. So that means they pulled it right out of the barrel. They didn't add, because a lot of bourbons, they will add water to the bourbon to kind of get the proof they want. This is no water, 58.5, 117 proof.
Whoa.
So we're gonna ratchet up just a little.
Is it better than Ezra?
Somebody listened to way too much 90s music.
Yes, I did.
Guilty.
I'm glad you got it at least. I was like,
Yeah, he's a little guilty on that.
Old folks.
So think completely different now that you're.
okay.
So
Yeah, so should we cleanse this palate a little bit? You got water over there, don't you?
Thank you, sir.
Cleanse your palate first.
Okay.
Okay, so you ready to jump in?
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
All right.
And what are you smelling out of that?
yes,
Tell him almost.
almost. Yeah, you almost had it.
All right. Hold on. What am I smelling?
Wafted across your nose if there's too much alcohol.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
the problem.
Breathe through your mouth when you breathe it through. So that will open up. You'll get more of the
Try to
taste
suck
in
it
the back
through your
of
nose and mouth kind of
Yeah.
simultaneously if you
And
can.
that'll get it in the back, so that way it gets past all that. It won't burn as much.
I don't know what the fuck.
That's okay. It's okay. You're doing all right. There's no wrong way or right way.
God, don't you look stupid right now?
We can't hire this guy for the church
Oh,
for whiskey.
man. You can't have a pastor that doesn't know shit about whiskey.
That's how you convert people. Yeah,
that's right.
All I have is wild turkey.
All you gotta have is somebody who's honest with how they don't know shit about whiskey.
Well, wait a minute. So you should be getting floral, vanilla, cinnamon, and a very buttery finish out of something like that.
All right, the two that really stand out is the floral, which is crazy because I haven't picked that up in anything we've drank so far. And that butter. Very, very buttery.
It's really good. This is a really good and not overly expensive.
It runs about $50.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
No.
Yeah.
So for a new experience or something that's completely different, this is a really good one.
No,
It is better than Ezra.
You're so old.
I gotta tell you, I don't know which one I like better between these two.
There's no wrong answer to what you like. That's the best part.
Yeah, it's just cool to catch that floral hint,
Unless it's Fireball.
which I had last night. I didn't. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're wrong.
You will not be in the church. You're out, brother.
It's got a devil on it. Shit.
what kind of interview process did we go through to get this guy here?
Not much of one if I'm sitting here.
Well, nobody else would accept. So.
Right, I know.
I mean, how many pastors
That's
can you get to
bullshit.
show up to drink whiskey all night?
Yeah, it might hurt their street cred if you did.
Well, if they knew that it wasn't being broadcasted, you'd have them all sitting here with you.
That's probably true.
But we don't know what pastors do.
We have no clue.
No, they don't.
We have no idea.
They-
All right,
What's
so
next on our
whiskey. Okay, so this is Old Pepper Distillery, 1776 barrel proof bourbon. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
Now, notes on this are rye spice, vanilla, honey, cloves, and chocolate.
Okay.
So that's very similar to what you had partially to Stranahan's single malt, but without the malt.
Okay. The alcohol content seems to be a little bit more overwhelming than the previous.
Oh, okay, so you feel like some of the ethanol is coming through pretty hard on you, right?
Yeah.
A little more oaky.
Yeah, and not as, I don't catch the florals as much, but the burn was a little stronger on this one.
Okay.
So where would you put this one in our current lineup?
Well, I would probably put this somewhere in the middle of the lineup.
Okay.
But I like what I like.
Okay, so we're saying right now your favorite by far, hands down, right now, is Stranahan's. So this would be your fave right now.
My fave. Put it on the Bible, dude.
On the Bible.
Jesus. What? Yes. What?
Okay, so this next one, this is an extremely popular whiskey right now. It's a craft whiskey. In the last year or so, it's really gaining popularity. So much so that we call taters. These are guys who are searching for whiskey. Search this one out quite frequently.
Their name's Taters?
Yeah, it's a nickname for guys who are into whiskey because they chase the trendy whiskeys.
Gotcha.
This is a tater favorite right now. This one was even hard for us to get. And we're not talking like Blanton's or something.
No. It's just, you know.
So this is a Smoke Wagon, uncut, unfiltered. It comes from Las Vegas, from Nevada H&C Distilling. It's a 57.72% alcohol or 115.44 proof.
Yeah.
Now that's editing.
Now that, my friend, is movie magic.
Magic. Sorcery.
It smells something different, and I'm not sure what it is. Okay, here we go. It's really smooth. Wow.
It's a really well-blended, well-distilled whiskey. It's a high rye, so there's a lot more rye in it. So when we say high rye, it's usually above 20%.
Okay.
This is a high rye whiskey, so it's a little more spicy, a little more sting on the back. A little bit more heat. So that clove, the allspice, those kind of things are what ryes bring into that.
You should be getting some tobaccos and some things like that with this one as well.
I was just getting ready to say, that's funny you mentioned that. It reminds me of a drink that I would get downtown at a bar, and it was called a tobacco.
Okay.
And it just has that leathery tobacco taste, texture.
They say the finish on this is what they're reaching for is rye spice, leather, tobacco, and dry oak.
Do you feel like they hit their mark as far as the drink is concerned?
100%. That is fantastic. This came from Nevada.
This is from Nevada. Now, MGP, when we say MGP, what he's doing is they're buying whiskey from MGP. It's one of the largest whiskey producers in the United States.
Okay.
It's in Indiana. They'll buy that whiskey, they'll bring it to Nevada, they'll blend it however they want for their profile they're after, and then they'll bottle it.
Gotcha.
So they blend it there, bottle it there, but it's made somewhere else.
That's good.
What's happening is there's a lot of craft whiskey makers coming on the scene in the whiskey world because whiskey is really popular right now. We're in a major bourbon boom, so something you used to pay $30 for now may cost you $60 to $100. These guys, all these little craft whiskey makers, are buying whiskey from like MGP, blending it on their own and making a new whiskey out of it.
It's like this. They're getting their raw resource from the big alcohol distillery, and then they craft. This is a craft whiskey, even though they sell quite a bit of it.
That's true.
So I could go down the street if it weren't in the time of COVID with all kind of distribution.
You didn't live in Oklahoma where we were only allowed one distributor because of our bullshit.
So
that goes back to the Puritans. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, so it's hard to get here because we don't have it, and it's hard to get outside of here because everybody wants it. So that's some of the things you run into with the bourbon world right now.
All right, guys.
Especially this one.
So you like it. It's a success.
Tell you that I would not serve that to anybody unless they really
like whiskey,
appreciated it.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a very good way to put that.
Yeah, because they, and look, I'm a novice. I don't know what I don't know. There's things that I just don't know. I'm new. But I can tell you that's badass. That's incredible. Everything on the table here with Jesus is pretty awesome.
And that's why it's on the table.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Oh, 2.
Okay. All right.
So it's
I know that makes me probably a piece of crap.
No.
that's not.
See, now here's the great thing about whiskey, especially the Church of Whiskey. You're not judged based on your whiskey choices.
Oh, that's good. I do not want to go to hell because I chose the wrong whiskey.
Well, I can't promise that. Can't promise that.
Who's my cream puff?
I am.
That's right, buddy.
So what's the next one up to grab?
I could imagine inviting a pastor to have whiskey and not try this whiskey with them.
What could this be?
But believe it or not, this is a celebrity whiskey.
It's a celebrity whiskey.
A celebrity whiskey, which we usually bash.
Yeah,
on this
because
show.
typically celebrity whiskeys is just cash grab.
This is a really excellent whiskey. Not to mention that we recently had one with a Redbreast 12 cask strength, which was just as good. And this is Bob Dylan's Heaven's Door cask strength. It is a 125.1 proof. That's 62.55% alcohol. Now let me explain that. 60% alcohol kills bacteria. This is 62.55. This is the good stuff. We brought you the good stuff. This stuff has been blessed by Bob Dylan. It is Heaven's Door. It's based off, he does a whole bunch of artistic wrought iron Heaven's Door shit.
May I hold?
Oh yeah, you might as well.
Wow, look at
Get
that
the man a
bottle.
glass. That's why we.
Look at that
Importantly-
bottle, guys. That's phenomenal.
This is Heaven's Door cask strength 125.1.
Why are you not drinking this?
Because I have Stranahan's.
That's why.
Because he had a 3-finger Stranahan's over there. He's finishing it right now.
I'm doing real good.
I'm like, mine's a hell of a lot darker than yours. What's going on?
well,
All right.
Should be
How do you get past the alcohol burn?
Just
Okay.
Just walk
So when you're smelling whiskey, right? Bring it up to your nose as far as you can. When it's burning, pull it back till it quits burning.
Okay.
So when that quits burning, now you're gonna pick up the burn's not gonna. Now if you open your mouth and breathe through your nose and your mouth at the same time, you're pulling just the flavors and not the alcohol content. It allows that to dissipate. Because you're drinking out of a Glencairn glass. Glencairns are directing that directly to your
it's a
olfactory.
chimney of alcohol.
Gotcha.
So if you just breathe it in, find that comfortable spot, and then you have to kind of search for those flavors. It's not going to be one of those things where it just says, "Oh, this is obvious. They added strawberries to this." You have to find the strawberry in that. It's the same way when it hits your palate. On your palate, whiskey will be in different space on your palate. So if you think about how complicated, when you think about a complicated whiskey is complicated because as you drink them, certain areas will open themselves up on the palate, not necessarily in the same space. So you may taste something on the tip of your tongue, and then something in the mid-tongue, and then something on the finish. That's a complicated whiskey. If you just taste caramel all the way through, wow, not complicated. This, on the other hand, this is good stuff.
I'm not sure what he said, but what I'm drinking, that's pretty good. Here we go.
Down the hatch, here we go.
There's burn, for sure.
It's 125.1
Yeah.
proof.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Now, the burn is always on the first drink. When you go a second time, the burn should have eased off. What happens when you first bring whiskey into your palate, you're introducing all that oil, and your taste buds are like, oh shit, right? So they just all fired at once. When you take your second drink, they've already done that, so that won't happen again.
Or at least not as bad.
Not as bad.
I don't know if I'm catching. It's the best way I can tell you is it tastes old world.
Okay.
Like I'm not sure if it's like a leathery vanilla. I'm not sure what I'm tasting here, but
Let me give you the palate taste. So they're saying in the palate is caramel,
okay.
biscuits, strawberry, corn, vanilla, and spice. And the spice could be cloves, allspice, and cinnamon, any of that area.
Biscuits. That was the thing that that jumped in my brain when you said that.
When we reviewed this whiskey, I remember specifically telling Zane I felt like this is just strawberry biscuits.
Yeah.
So strawberry jam on a biscuit. If you think of like
That's
that,
pretty good
you
stuff.
really kind of get
No,
it.
it is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
Now, like anything with whiskey, none of it is like flavored. So it's not like
Right.
you're not picking up flavors.
It's
in like,
literally the alcohols, the different types of
That's right.
alcohols that are creating those flavors.
I will tell you this has ruined my whiskey drinking with my father.
No, it's increased the ability for you to bring good whiskey into the room and take that 40 Creek and put it down the back 40 for somebody else to drink.
And
This is way better.
and here's the other interesting thing is we've not even explored putting a drop of water in the whiskey
Ice.
or ice,
Yeah.
which can change the flavor, the nuance. So you can have something that you really liked and you can do a drop of water to it and it explodes in your face in a way you didn't experience it before and you're like,
Wow.
damn. So, you don't have to have a collection of whiskey for miles
No.
to have a new experience. You can just drink it in a different way. But there's only one way to drink it, and that's neat. Damn it.
I gotta tell you. I would not take this and put it on ice. That would just fuck it up.
No, you would not.
No, you would not.
You would not.
Yeah, that would make me sad. And I'm new and I don't know shit. That would make me sad.
But see, you're about to graduate from the Church of Whiskey. So with that said, we always make sure that our guests try one other special whiskey we have here. So every whiskey that we review ends up in what we call an infinity bottle. The Truffle Shuffle. Which basically, we're actually sending a couple of samples of artesian olive oil to some viewers who recently bought some shirts. So if you want to buy a shirt from Whiskey Pop right now, this is a good time to do it. You can hop on one of our social media pages, our sites, and just DM us and we'll talk to you about a shirt.
Hook you up.
We don't have very many left available, so if you want one, you better do it. But we might, maybe, send you a sample of artesian olive oil with that shirt, maybe.
This is like when you would go to the bar and you'd always hear the wives tell.
We got that bag in the back corner.
where everything that bled into the drain, you just collected it and then served it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Doug, we thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate you being here. Do you feel like you've learned a few things today from the Church of Whiskey?
I did, from the Church of Whiskey, from the two pastors of Neat. And what's the other one?
The neat pour and
the neat pour, and what's the other pour?
There is no other.
There is no other pour.
Well, that's good right there. Okay, here we go.
The Truffle Shuffle.
The Truffle Shuffle. It's okay. Here's what I got to tell you guys. Thank you for having me, because I would not even have known that was confused before I sat down and walked through all of this.
So you had a lot of whiskey tonight.
I have, and you know what? We'll probably have a lot more once we cut.
Once we finish here, we will probably have a bit more because there's some stuff back here that we really could introduce you to that may make all these like I changed my mind.
I feel like I'm joining a fraternity, not a church.
Well, welcome to the Church of Whiskey, Doug.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, you guys be sure to like, share, and
Subscribe.
And also, don't forget to catch us on Friday when we review
Jorge
Dickel Bottle and Bond. In the meantime, you guys continue to be geeky this week, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.